Welcome back to another episode of Flipping the Script with Joy and Becky. Woo! Episode 19, I think.
Yep. Is it 19? Oh my gosh. I can't believe we've come so far.
I can't believe we got past it. We were sat on this idea for a while. And it's funny because I was talking to my other friend, and this is where that idea had come up from. And but we never did anything. So I'm like, well, you can come and talk to us or come on if you want sometime or whatever. I don't care. Come chat with us. I like chatty people, you know? So I was like, whatever.
Okay, there. I was just sharing us. Sorry. I'm not technologically savvy.
I am,
Nope.
but I'm a little out of it. I'm not as quite up to date with the technology as I was certified back in 2000. So, Windows 2000 is what I got certified for. When a Microsoft server like is whatever.
Yeah.
It seems like a lifetime ago. That was like a different lifetime.
I know. We have lived many, many lifetimes in this one lifetime, it feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
Martha
it,
is flying around. So yesterday there were two, Martha's what I call my little bee that flies around. But there were two of them that hit me in the head. So if they, because they were fighting for the territory of, my sitting area. So if they come at me, I might have to jump. So if I drop the phone and run, that would be why. But just, giving you a heads up. Um,
I
you know,
you, so it's
so
all good.
sitting here enjoying. I just planted a bunch of I've got sunflowers, marigolds, echinacea, um what else did I plant? Sage, basil. So I've got my homegrown stuff going. And I was thinking of maybe selling those in the store if they get big enough, and if I have too many. So
Exactly. That's
yeah.
awesome. That's
So
amazing.
my
I know you.
tinctures and my oils have been like I got an order yesterday of apothecary there's a hummingbird of some apothecary, like the amber dropper bottles. So I've been really working on filling them up, and I've got 99 bottles full of tinctures and oils, and that doesn't even include what I already have in the store. So right there is like $1,000. So I'm like, boom. That's an amazing way to turn a few, you know maybe I've spent $100 on the items that are in there, but it's got my love, it's got my good juju on it, it's got healing
That's
herbs.
amazing.
I've got dandelion, I've got sage, I've got oregano, I've got oil, orange oil, lemon. I mean, and the good thing about these is that you can add them to anything. I made a turmeric and a hemp one that I put in my smoothie this morning, and they're delicious. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so much better than just the powder. Um, because I've been putting turmeric and hemp oil or hemp powder into my smoothies every day. And when I put the oil in, it's like it absorbs the flavor and it makes it, I don't know, more digestible. So it's more palatable.
Yeah.
Um, so I really enjoyed that. And then a lot of the other things like the orange oil and the lemon oil, you can put in cleaning products. You can put, a little bit in some vinegar, and clean your house with it. And then there's an all natural cleaning solution as opposed to going out and buying these things. And a lot of what's prompted me to do a lot of this is just when I'm cooking in the kitchen, when I'm making things, I have a lot of food waste, and I don't like to waste my food. So what started it is I would just put it in the fridge, like my orange peels and my banana peels, my banana peels and my eggshells. I've always used, with my plants and stuff. And eggshells are great too for protection. So I'll grind them up and put them with my black salt. And so you can put that around your house too, or you can put them in candles, and it's also good for your plants. So it's, multi-purpose. But the orange peels and the lemon peels and the grapefruit peels, I just started storing them in the fridge. And I was like, well, what can I do with these? And I started looking things up. I started making bath bombs. Originally I was just grinding it up and taking a bath with it. And now, I'm like, all right, well, let me do something that is more sustainable, that lasts longer. Because if I'm grinding up orange peels and taking a bath with them, first I'm clogging up my drains, and my husband's not too much of a fan of that, so I have to grind them real small, and and they don't last very long. I have to keep it in the fridge, and then I'm running to the fridge to the bath and stuff. So um, making the oils definitely is a great substitute. So I've evolved.
Very helpful because most of us just buy the stuff. Like I used like this is rose water.
Hmm.
Rose water is perfect for just clearing your area, and like before bed,
And
like
I've
spray.
got a ton of roses. I don't know. I'm gonna turn it. Let me do it where I can see. But that's just one of my areas of rose bushes that you can see the reds coming in. I've got three different areas in around my house that have roses. So the front yard is I've got I think like five rose bushes out there. I've got three back here, and then one more over there. So when they come in, I have a ton of roses, and they're beautiful, and I hate to see things like that go to waste. So I will definitely be looking into rose water. I'll take the roses in the past, and then I'll grind them up and put them in my bath water. So I want to find a way to where I can, give it to other people as well.
I know too. That's awesome. I
Mhm.
know you've been doing really well in your store and stuff. I was like so proud because
I know. Well, I'm like trying to put the good juju out there. Of course, I've got my mother today, and she's like, "Well, you're doing too much. I don't want you to get above your head or over your head, in over your head." And it's like I just have to block that out because she's always that voice in my head that's telling me that I can never achieve, that I can never succeed. And I don't understand that I she'll see me go out hiking, and then she'll say, "Well, be careful because there's murderers in the woods." And it's like, why
what?
do I need that unnecessary fear implanted? And I understand that's just her way of being, but that fear projected onto me has kept me small and afraid for a very, very, very long time in my life, to where I didn't think that I could fly. I didn't think that, I thought I needed to stay protected in this nest because I was so scared. um and I'm sure that's probably what her parents did to her. That's the mentality, of we have to be afraid of everything, and that's just not the way that I choose to live anymore. I don't want to warn the people that I care about of the dangers that are coming, because what I'm doing is I'm projecting fear into their lives. I'm creating and manifesting fear, and then if they co-sign that, then they're taking that on, and then they're creating their own fear in their own reality. And so we need to stop as a collective warning people, be careful, or putting this negative um, thing, even if it's coming from a place of love. When we're putting fear out there, I love you, be careful, it's
Be safe.
projecting fear. Yeah, that's not love. That is fear. I mean, the two don't it's like water and oil. You can't have both. They're not going to mix. So you can't call it love but put fear on top of it. And people do it automatically. It's not really a thought process, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, that happens. I think
from
it's
this
just
running.
it's programmed in us. And so yeah, it's programming. So we have to unlearn that. And when I find myself doing that, getting into that fear thought, it is my mother's voice in my head that's, worry about this, be afraid of that, and her. I remember growing up, and even still, she'll say, expect the or what is it? Expect the worst, but hope for the best.
Yeah,
And that is the opposite of manifestation. That
that's
is
the
creating chaos in your life. You cannot
creator.
expect bad things to happen and then hope for good things to happen. That's not reality. That's not how we make things happen. That's how we make things not happen. That's how we make the bad things that we don't want to happen. You have to expect the impossible. You have to inspect. You have to expect that you're going to have a miraculous day. That when you go out hiking, that you're going to be safe, and you're going to have a wonderful time, and you're not going to hurt yourself, and you're not going to fall on a rock, and nobody's going to be there.
Yeah,
You have to expect the highest timeline. If we're putting our expectations into the lower timeline, we're going to create more of that. So we need to put our expectations into the higher timeline, and then know, we don't need to hope. We know that that's going to be created. So I no longer, sign up for my mother's philosophy. I'm signing up for my own philosophy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that what she believes is wrong. Maybe that works for her. Maybe it doesn't work for her. I don't know. I'm not in her life. I mean, I am in her life, but I'm not. I'm not living her life for her. So I can't make those choices for her. That's how she chooses to be, and if she wants to be different, that's her choice too. You know. Now for me to go and say, "Mom, you're doing," that's not going to work out. She's not going to hear that. She's going to take it as me attacking her. um and it's not at all. It's just, that's just no longer the way that I choose to live my life. I no longer want to live in fear. I no longer want to walk out of the house afraid of Armageddon. If Armageddon comes, then it comes, and I'm prepared for it because I have God on my side, I have light on my side, and I'm ready. Yeah.
Saw my reading the other day, right? You saw my reading the other day?
I started it, and then I got interrupted, so I didn't
That's
get.
okay, but anyways, this was one of the cards I pulled. But if you see the hair color, if you see the hair color on
Oh
her,
yeah, I did see that one. Yeah. Yeah. The
I
red.
was like, oh, it came out again. Look at that. But no, I totally agree with you. We have been in, and that's also the English language. So it's as negative as possible, plus not setting intentions in an evil language. And so we're leaving ourselves open
Mhm.
for all kinds of nastiness. We're not even aware of that. And I think it was you that shared that video with me that English was written by the occultists and all of that, which makes sense because the learning that I've done from the Q, listening to Q um, teachings, has taught that's what he says. That's what he's telling us, is that that's what happened with the English language. So
Mhm.
we have to set, and if we come like, and then like after our last meeting or our last recording, I got an appointment with Rick too, which was amazing. And we talked
Yes, I
about,
want to hear all about it.
but yeah, he was talking about fear and breaking the cycle of fear. And that's what I was doing. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's been really difficult. I've had a really difficult weekend. Um, but we're here to break the cycles. We're not here to continue toxic cycles and patterns, and like you were saying, and continue the fear coding and programming. We're not here to do that. We're here to break that programming, break that cycle. So in a way, maybe we could find a way to just tactfully and lovingly respond with something positive. So when she says it, you automatically are giving love right back to the situation and the words. Like, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, yeah, because I was just thinking, there's no way for me to respond. My mom is, is
we don't
not
need to,
open to suggestion, but you're
that's
right in
right.
my response. My response can be, you know, thank you, I love you. I appreciate you loving me. I hear that you love me, and I am grateful for that. So
Exactly.
changing the way
That's
that I respond to it, not asking her to change, but changing my response to it, it would be important.
that's
That way I'm changing the energy. It's funny. My husband and I were talking this morning, now that I was thinking about that, and we were talking about changing the energy. There's my daughter has a new friend, and the father has the name of an ex of mine, an ex whatever. And my husband's like, "Oh, I don't like his name." And I said, "Well, let's change the energy." I said, "You don't have to think of the same person just because they have the same name. Let's change the energy behind it." He's like, "Well, I don't want, we're going to have to call him something different." And it's like, "Well, let's just change that whole energy behind it. Let's think of that name in a different context." And so we have that power, we have that control over what we choose, to put our energy in. And if you want to look at something just because it reminds you of something from the past in a negative way, then you're going to create more of that negative feeling. But if you want to change that energy, just because someone has the same name, there's millions of people that have the same names, and
yep,
that doesn't mean that every single person is going to do the same thing to you.
exactly.
I mean, I'm sure your daughter's name is Becky, my name's Becky, and that might bring up feelings you know of joy, or and there's your name, or of
Amendment.
sadness or something, but that doesn't mean that we're the same person. You know what I mean? Like we might I might remind you of this person or that person, but we're all individuals. We're all a collective and we're all one at the heart of it. But
That's
yeah.
right.
Oh, I know. And
It's
that's your last name, my first name, which is
Campbell,
funny.
yeah.
Your maiden name. So it's kind of like we come together. And speaking of the oracle cards, a friend of mine, I actually was sharing some of my art the other day, and a friend on Facebook said, "Why don't you make some tarot cards?" And I'm not big into the tarot. Personally, I've never worked with it. I've just done the oracle cards. I'm more into like reading the little thing. I guess I haven't put that much effort into it. And I kind of feel the oracle cards, and I've worked with the same deck for 13 years. And I've got my Archangel Michael deck. But I've got two other decks that are newer. I don't work with them quite as much. So I just haven't gotten into the tarot. I don't have anything against it. It's just I don't know it. Um, but she does a lot of these tarot readings, and she does a lot of oracle readings. She's always doing reviews online of tarot and oracle cards. And so a friend of mine on Facebook said, "Why don't you make some tarot cards with your artwork?" And I contacted the friend who does the reviews, and she said, "Oh my God, I've been wanting to do this. I've been putting these cards together in my head. I just couldn't picture them until I thought, until you just said something to me." And I was like, "Okay, so let's get together." So we're going to get together in the next couple of weeks and talk about putting together my art with her um, intuition and her guidance and whatever it is. We'll work together, figure it out. So I'm super excited about that. And the fact that all of this abundance, all of these opportunities are opening themselves up to me, it's because I believe they can exist. It has all to do with my manifestations, the work that I've been doing. Somebody could look at me that doesn't know me and say, "Oh, she's lucky," or I wish I could have what she has. Well, you can. That's the thing, is you can have everything, but you have to go out and get it. You can't have mine, you can have yours. And you have to, and it's fine to share. I don't mind sharing my stuff, but do the same things that I've done. Watch our podcasts, listen to the guidance. Yeah,
Because
listen to what
so
we've been doing and watch your world change. Sorry, go ahead.
okay, I was just agreeing with you because the more you put out there into the universe, the more you're going to get back, But the thing is, and this is what I'm dealing with, is trusting, and this is like I talked to Rick, my fears, and so I've been in a place where I can't be 100% authentic all the time, and that's not working. I have to be able to be authentic 24/7 all the time. I have to be able to be myself all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
No dimming my light at all. And that's what I'm working on, but I can't do it if I'm in fear. And I didn't really know that I was in fear, but I kind of had an inkling, but I didn't exactly know to what extent until I got to talk to Rick, and he kind of helped me out and see it a different way because um, I am dimming my light a lot. And I can't do that and be okay, that's the thing. So I have to be in a position to, and so if I don't stand my ground, and this is why I'm trying to, and I'm also with borderline personality, so it's a little tricky because the borderline makes me want to just fight immediately and react immediately and just jump in, but I can't do that. And so I'm learning how to face my fears, walk through them to get to the other side, but be kind and loving and gentle, even if the other people around me aren't.
Oh, honey
Like
wants
they're
to come up.
struggling. Honey,
Say hi, honey.
hi, honey.
Oh,
Hi, so cute. Hi, she's so cute. I just love it. I love it.
she
Our
wants to
orange.
give some love.
And mine's asleep. He's passed out, but he's always over here next to me. He's literally always watching me. And if Joel comes in, or if even my kids, he'll growl and let me know that someone's there. He'll always know someone's there. It's so funny, and it's just a warning. Like, he's not mean, but he was abused. When I got Chase, he was he had given up. He was very skinny. He was emaciated. His bones were sticking out. He wouldn't eat. He was terrified. And he was also recovering from a broken leg because of abuse. And the person said he fell on him. Well, I don't believe that because we heard everything. I could hear it. He lived next door to me in this apartment. We share, our wall on the garage, it meets at the garage. So I hear. So I heard the abuse. It was awful. And so I didn't even know what to do. Like I told Joel, I said, I fucking went off on him. I yelled at him and I told him if he hurts another animal, I will call the police. I will have him arrested. They ended up moving out, thank God, because I don't know why that was put there, but you know what? That's part of being in my authenticity, was to stand my ground and say, you're not going to abuse an animal next to me where I can hear it. I draw the line.
Yeah.
You that shit somewhere else. And anyways, he ended up giving me the dog. And so I changed his name to Chase and gave him a whole new life. And within a day, he was eating and he's been thriving ever since. I did a lot of Reiki on him. When I first got him, I held him on my chest, on my heart a lot so that he could get my heart space and my love. And he's thriving. Now he's my buddy. Like he always has my six. He's everywhere with me. Like I saved him, and so and it took me 2 days to agree because I knew that it would be mine, like he would be for me and no one else. Like no one else can touch him. Um, like females can. If you're a female, you can.
Mhm.
And he's not mean though. He won't bite anyone.
Yeah.
But actually he will. He'll snap, but he doesn't hurt. He does it out of like a warning, because masculine energy scares him. He's scared of masculine energy now.
Yeah,
So
that's funny because my older dog, not Honey, but my older dog, she came from an animal horde. And she when we first got her, she does not like any men of color, any men if you're Hispanic, black, Asian, if you're anything that has any kind of color. And I'm guessing whoever owned her was, I mean, I don't know, someone of color and a man. She would attack. I mean, even now she'll attack the Amazon worker, and I feel so bad because they come to drop off the package, and the dog will like chase after them. She doesn't actually attack, but she gets, she looks like she's going to attack. And that stems from her abuse. It took her a long time to warm up to my husband, but she's my protector. She's my ride or die. She really is. And my dogs, they follow me everywhere. They watch everything that I do. And like even this morning, I was watering the plants, and they're watching me, and they're like, "Mom, what are you doing?" And then I'm making a smoothie, and they're standing there watching me, and they're just staring at me like, "What are you doing? What is that noise?" Like they're investigating everything, always prowling, always protecting. They're my little light holders. They're
yes.
my little lovers. When I'm upset, they come up to me and they give me the love that I'm not feeling. They take care of me. I'm the leader of their pack. And I protect them and they protect me. And they know their role, I know mine. If only we as a society could work like a pack where we don't have to speak and say what we're doing, but we're just intuitively and naturally caring for one another, protecting one another, providing for one another. They know that I'm going to feed them, and I know that they're going to be there for me and that they're going to protect me. If I was walking down the street and you know somebody was dangerous or something, I know that they would point that out. Or if there was an animal that was coming, if there was a snake or something, that they would protect me. And that's kind of the give and take of our relationship, is that I know they're going to protect me, they know I'm going to feed them. We just have this symbiotic relationship that's about love. And there's no question, at the end of the day, they know mom's going to take care of them. My daughter, on the other hand, she's the one that tortures. She's always building forts and making them come in, and she piles all of her squishmallows on and then makes them climb up. And it's like a pile of pillows, and they have to climb them like it's stairs, and they're falling all over the place. So they don't have that trust in her that they have with me. But
Right.
we've developed a loving relationship. And you know there's one thing about the animals that they are light workers. They come in and they hold the light because they are pure love. Whether it's the dolphins, the whales, the dogs, the cats,
It doesn't
the
matter.
animals, yeah, all of the animals, they are in a different vibration than us. That's why, your dog can sense, or your cat can sense when there's a spirit. They can sense things because they can see them. They're not in the same dimension that we're in. They're not under this false matrix. They don't live in it. Animals, they don't pay rent. They don't pay taxes. They don't live in a government, but yet they all get along. I mean, there's a natural order of things. I'm not saying that animals are, peaceful. Um, but I think they are peaceful in a way, if that makes any sense. So they're just in their natural habitat, in their own natural way. They are at peace, even though there's carnivores and all of that stuff that goes on. But that's just the natural way things happen. But they don't need a government to tell them. They don't need a police officer to corral them. And yet they all work in harmony with one another. So why is it that the only species on this earth that's supposedly so superior, that we need to be policed and governed and taxed and all of these things? That doesn't make any sense. Why can we not live in harmony? And so that's what I would like to see. That's what I want to manifest, is a world where we're in harmony with one another, where we are self-governing, where we are sovereign, where we are free. And so that's a lot of my goals when it comes to manifesting, is to see that God sovereign free world. So yeah, anyway, I talk too much sometimes, so
Yeah, I don't care. That's
okay.
that's
So
fine.
I'll let you pipe in and do a little talking today.
I was like, well, these popped out while I was sitting here. The Queen of Pentacles, girl, that's you right now. I feel like I'm the Queen of Cups. I'm getting there, and I also got the Ace of
What
Cups just popped
Tell me
out.
what those mean, because like I said, I don't know that much about tarot, so.
Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm still learning all of the cards, so we'll just learn. Let's see. So the Queen, and I know most of them by energy. So if I'm in flow, it's a little different. Like, but if you have to ask me, I'm not sure. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't know, my consciously, I don't know. But if I'm like channeling and I'm doing a reading, then it just comes to me. It's
Okay.
different. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Um, okay, it's just, I guess it's just channeling. 2727 on the clock too. So,
Mhm.
anyways, so
It's
Queen of
funny you
Pentacles.
said queens, though, because my sister the other day, I posted a picture of me having lunch, and she said, "You eat like a queen," and I'm like, "That's because I am." We're all queens and kings in our own way. We're all gods and goddesses. And that's what people don't understand, is that we don't need to have someone telling us what to do. We need to learn how to do that for ourselves. You know, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, it's fine. No, the Queen of Pentacles, basically healthy in body and finances, grounded and calm. This is what you like. This is like earthly, also earthly energy. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, um, energy, and so we're really like grounded people. So you have to look at it like that too. So the Queen of Pentacles would be very grounded, very abundant in money, like finances, stable. Um,
Oh yeah,
uh,
that's where I'm getting, or I'm
that's
hoping
your
to get
energy.
anyway.
And this one came out for me because for me, like the emotionally nurturing and intuitively sensitive, that came out representing me right now because I'm way in my feelings right now. And that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Like,
What's funny is everything that you're going through right now, I feel like I just went through all of that a couple months ago. So it's almost like, maybe I went through it to show you that there is a way out. You know what I mean? Not saying of your physical situation, but of your mental situation, if that makes
yeah,
any sense.
yeah.
And
Well,
that you
that
just have to keep going through it to get to the other side, because a lot of the same situations that you're currently experiencing, I've gone through, and there were lessons that I had to learn in each thing. So it's not like you could just pick somebody up and take them out of their pain. I was listening to a song this morning. It said something about the dark. You can't rush your healing, because there's learning in the darkness, or something like that. There's lessons in the darkness.
right.
And so we can't rush our healing process. We have to go through each thing, because um if somebody
Mhm.
was to just pick us up and save us, we wouldn't learn those lessons. We have to learn those lessons in those situations so that we can, we can help others with that as well. With my
Saying keep your eye
relationship.
on the prize. They're
What?
both they're both looking at their prize. See, they're saying keep your eye on the prize.
Mm,
See, she's looking at her pentacle and she's looking at her trophy or her water, whatever goblet thing, right?
hmm.
Yeah, they're saying to keep our eye on the prize, just to keep focusing on what we're doing right now. And see, that's what I mean by channeling. Like, I'll get this and I can have this definition, but the actual message comes in through the spirit. You see what I mean? So you can have like knowledge, and I knew that already going into it. So I already knew that I just have to practice. That's all you have to keep doing over and over and over. And then it
I know.
just comes.
Well, yeah, when I'm doing the oracle cards, because I've worked with the Archangel Michael cards for so long, I really
Yes.
don't need to read the booklet because I know what. Well, first of all, I've read every single one multiple times, so it's kind of ingrained in me. But also, when I just see the card, I know what it means to me. I know what it's gonna say. It's when I'm working with a new deck or something that's when I want to look at at the book and read more about it. But yeah, I do flow really well with the Archangel Michael cards. I
Yes.
don't do readings quite as often as I was there for a while. I've just kind of gotten into other things at the moment. Um, but yeah, maybe I'll do a little reading for myself. Or for others later. I don't know. Sometimes I feel called to do it. It's like I go through phases where I'm really doing, one thing, and it's like I get hyper fixated on one thing. Right now, it's like the planting and the herbs and all of that stuff. So it's like I go through little phases. Maybe I'm like the moon. Each moon phase I go through something
It's
different.
also part of your like your the what was it your body design, your human design. I can't remember if you were, what were you, manifester? I'm a generating manifester for my body, my human design. I don't remember if
What are you referring to?
the human design, I can't remember what it's called right now. I'll have to look it up and put it in the description. But anyways, if you look up your human design, I'll share it, like gene keys and stuff. That's, but
Oh,
it's all about like your, yeah, remember I was looking that stuff up for you. I
yeah.
can't I can't remember what.
know I'm a life path 8, and that means like leader or something like that. I forget.
Yeah, life path 8, and then I'm a life path 9, which is the humanitarian, the service worker.
Mhm.
Surprisingly.
Oh, instant manifester. That's the life path 8. Is I can manifest
Well,
instantly.
that's that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little different. I'm a manifesting generator, but if I hang on, I can pull it up really fast. Because
Yeah.
I have my monitor, like my laptop holding my phone up so that
Well,
I
it's
don't have.
funny because I do manifest things pretty quickly. Once I start doing them, then everything just kind of happens. You know what I mean? Like if I have my full belief in it, that's the thing. I had to unlock that door first, you know, to the manifestation. I had to put that belief in myself. I had to sit there and say, I believe in myself, and really mean it. And that was the hardest thing for me, was to really believe in myself and to believe that I am as powerful as I want to be, as powerful as, all the things that I read, all the things that I listen to, and to really believe that. It's one thing to listen to these meditations and these transmissions and read all of this stuff that comes out, um, but it's another thing to integrate it and to believe it and to see it and to know it. It's getting to that knowing, that's when you unlock the door, and then the magic starts happening. And manifesting isn't like I wave a wand and boom, money comes to my door. That's not how it happens. It's I get an idea in my head, or in in my gut, wherever the intuition comes from. I get that idea and then I follow it and I put the work in, and it takes work. But I don't give up. And when I'm doing this kind of work, there's a passion to it that is the creation process. And when
Yeah.
I'm feeling that passion, what I'm doing, it's powerful. And I know that whatever I'm doing, I'm going to succeed as long as I keep believing that I'm going to succeed. That's the key, is that I have to keep that belief that I'm going to succeed. When I start getting those thoughts and those people that say, "Oh, be careful. Oh, you might not do this. Oh, what if?" That's when I start getting the doubts, and then my manifestations stop, or
That's
I
why they
get a
tell you
roadblock.
not to tell anybody. They do. They tell you to keep your things, your next move under wraps because the wrong people can send bad juju. And
Mhm.
so it's true. So everything that I've been doing, I haven't really talked to anybody about it. Very few people even know what I do. And I don't even really know what I'm doing. That's the funny part. I'm just following my intuition and doing the next step. Like, I don't know where it's all leading to. I just know that it's what my heart is calling me to do, but I can't do it if I'm in fear and I'm not being authentic and I'm watering myself down and I'm letting people control me and make decisions for me. I can't do that. I'm
Yeah.
too nice. He told me straight up, give less fucks. He told me to get, sorry if you don't like that word, guys. Please just bleep it out if you don't like it. But he told me to give less fucks. I give too many. And I'm being honest, I do. I've come a long way, but I've also been a very much a people pleaser and letting people just do whatever they want and doing what other people want and leaning into what they want to see, what they want to do, what they want to eat, and just because
I
of
Oh
that.
my gosh, you said that. Yeah. No, I started making the food I want to eat and saying to my family, "You're either going to eat it or eat a bowl of cereal." And you know what? My husband's like, "I actually like spinach." I have not made myself spinach, which is my favorite food in the whole world. I have not made dishes with spinach in it because I was afraid my husband wouldn't eat it. Well, guess what? He didn't even know whether he liked it or not. He just assumed that he wouldn't like it. And I assumed that he wasn't going to like it. So I said, forget it. I started cooking for myself and saying, if you are going to eat in this house, you're going to eat what I want to make because I'm the one making it. And I didn't put tomatoes in things because he doesn't like tomatoes. I changed my entire diet based on other people, and I gained so much weight because my husband's a meat and potatoes man. And now
I
it's been
just
3
thought,
years that I've gotten off the medications. I've started doing everything holistically. And and I did that before I woke up. I got off the medications just one day. I said, "You know what? I had enough of this." And I weaned myself off, and I started replacing it with CBD, replacing it with holistic medicine. What's going on?
this is for my cats when they go to scratch on the furniture. I can't always catch them. I don't shoot them. I shoot in the area, in the vicinity. So don't think I'm hurting them. But as soon, all they have to know is this sound, and I'm like, "Come here." Sorry. So I had to shoot at my cat so I wouldn't get my furniture scratched up.
But yeah, I have been just intuitively following my intuition when it comes to taking back my power and doing things that I want to do, because I lost myself. My relationship started um and I started giving my power away. When we first started getting together, he would say, and it wasn't him saying, "You can't go be this person that you want to be." It was him saying, "Oh, I don't want to do that." And so I said, "Oh, well, if you don't want to do that, then for you, I will not do that either." And, "Oh, you don't like that? So for you, I'm not going to do that either." So I was being too considerate, too people pleasing, too courteous, to the point where I started losing myself. And then it came down to one day him saying, "I don't even like you." And I said, "You know what? I don't even like me."
I don't like me either. And that's where we were the other day. He was telling me that some stuff. I'm just like, you know what? He told me a lot, and I'm not trying to get into that or anything because like I said, they care too much about what people think anyway. Like I'm like, dude, nobody that watches any of my stuff knows who you are. Like you really have nothing to worry about. So
I know
anyways,
our three listeners, like, it doesn't matter.
like our 12 people, like come on now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, anyways, what were you saying? I can't remember now. Oh, he's been putting me in the box, and I've been letting him.
Mhm.
And he wants me to be the person I was 10 years ago, but I can't be that person 10 years ago if you try to force me in that box.
Well,
I
the
am not
people that we
here.
were when we first met them were strong, and that's what attracted them. We were independent. We were authentic. When I look back on my Facebook memories from 12 years ago, I was talking about love and light. I was talking about Ganesha. I was talking about spirituality. I was talking about the power of now. I was going through all of those things, and then what happened? I started. I watched The Secret, and I started manifesting a relationship. I started manifesting my physical, trying to work on my physical body, and I changed my physical body. I manifested that relationship. I did all those things, and then what happened? It was a distraction. Not saying that my relationship isn't what I needed and isn't what was meant for me. It was, but a lot of that distracted me from my spiritual path. Now I think that I had lessons in that catapulted me. So to say that it distracted me completely, I think it was part of my spiritual path. But had I not gotten on that spiritual path, I think I could have ascended a lot faster had I just stayed single. But there was a yearning in me for a relationship. There was something in me that wanted to be in a relationship. And I got my daughter out of the situation. I've learned so many lessons when it comes to this relationship and myself. But I did lose myself in that. I got distracted from who I am. I think that's the distraction. Not that I wasn't meant to be on this path, but I got distracted from my spiritual focus.
Yeah.
And maybe I was meant to. Maybe I was meant to for a time so that I could come out of this stronger. Come out of this truly who I am. I had to kind of go back into the darkness to find the light again. We have to kind of go through a lot of things to really stand in our power and see who we are. Um, you
Yeah.
know,
I mean, like 10 years ago, and this is what's messed up. I was in an 11-year relationship, and I went right from that relationship right into this one, and I've been in this one for 11 years. So I've really been in a relationship for 22 years straight. Like I haven't really had a break. And it's not that I explained, and it's really hard to explain. Like when I first got sober, the rule is to get a year and then you start dating. You know that. You don't date before a year of sobriety because it's a distraction to you, and
yeah.
yourself.
Well, that's why I started.
That's
That's
where
when
I'm
I
at.
met my husband, when I had a year sobriety.
Yeah. Well, this one, my first one was in AA with me, and I cared a lot, but I was taking on a lot of history that I didn't need because my dad was a caregiver, and so I was kind of the caregiver, and so I had a relationship where I was the provider. I was the one working. He was the one staying home. He was disabled, but he didn't do anything to help me. He just stayed at home all day and played games because I made sure he had a PS5 and an Xbox and a TV and the internets and all of the things, you
All the
know,
things. That's so funny. My husband says that. I say, "What do you love about me?" He says, "I love all the things." That's like one
all
of
the
our little
things.
all
I
the
asked mine what he liked about me, and he can't even say one thing, not one
yeah.
fucking thing. And
You
I'm
know what?
I'm like,
That's how my husband is too.
being nice about me in fucking 11 years. That's what you really. Not that I'm. Thank you for keeping my kids alive.
No.
Nothing. You know what I mean?
For
Like, okay.
feeding me, for taking care of me, for running the house, taking the kids to school. Yeah. No, my husband, if I ask him what do you like about me, and it's always physical, something physical. They're very in the 3D world, and it's not necessarily about the deeper meanings behind things. I think they do feel those things. I just don't think that they can articulate them, or maybe they're not even aware of them.
I don't.
But I don't know.
I don't know. Unfortunately, like the things that people go through, like going to prison, that messes with you really bad. Especially, I don't know. I don't know. Especially for men. I mean, I gotta be honest, especially for men. So any men that have been to
Charlie,
prison,
Charlie, get out of there.
it's basically like shutting everything that you've been taught off and becoming a completely different person while you're there. And a lot of these people have a hard time becoming the person they were before because of the trauma they experience and see while they're in there.
Yeah.
So even if they don't personally experience the trauma, they see it,
Mhm.
you
Well,
know,
that
and
just
I
witnessing trauma is traumatic.
it is. So even you know, all of it, and not only that, but it's fucking scary, and they can't admit that it's fucking scary. They can't admit that they have fear. They can't admit
I
that
don't
they
I've only been in jail and I was in there for 3 days and that was enough. You know,
I
that
just
was scary enough.
I
And
got a year with a bullet, and the reason I got a county year with a bullet is so I could go to rehab. That was the only reason I did that, and I stayed out of prison and did a county year so that I could do rehab. And it was a program that I did called RSAT. I went into that a little bit, and it's basically out of all of Riverside County. I mean, my let me just tell you my last booking number. My booking number was 9931025. That was my booking number, my last booking number. I'll never have another one. But yeah, you know, just knowing that much. But then just working the program and doing this and that, and then I got into my first marriage, and then I got out of it into my next marriage, just like boom, no separation. They literally boxed. It was ballroom blitz in my fucking living room. I was like, what the fuck did I do to
oh my
my?
god.
It was ridiculous, girl. I was ridiculous too. I'm telling you. But I saw an opportunity and I went for it, and I need to
And
do the
that's
same
and
fucking.
that's the person that your husband wants back is the crazy person that we were. You know, like that's the thing. When I think back to who I was you know, 11, 10, 11 years ago, like I might have been searching for spirituality, but I was a mess. There was a reason that I was searching for spirituality at that point, you
I
know?
was in
And
lack. I came from a point of lack too. I got to understand that back then I was in lack. I was in want. I was in need. I wasn't doing well. Emotionally was already being neglected and such in that relationship, having to deal with that relationship. So when I went into this relationship, I was in lack. I was in need. I was not a whole person. And so
what
now he's having trouble with the person that I want to be, because I'm a different person now, and I'm not going to be that person ever again.
Well, and
Authentic.
we're supposed to change. We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to grow. If we were the same person that we were 10 years ago, then that's not okay. You know, my husband, he's like, "Well, I'm the same." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You have no idea. Like if I look at pictures of him, he looks like different people to me." You know, if that makes any sense. His eyes change, his demeanor changes. He's more attractive to me now. If I met him if I met the him that he was 10 years ago today, I would not be attracted to him in any way, shape, or form. Um, physically, emotionally, none. But the way that he looks, the way that he carries himself today is attractive to me. If that makes any sense. But like I look back on pictures and I'm like, ew. You know, I'm like, "Oh, you weren't cute." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I was young." And I was like, "No, youth has nothing to do with it. I like you better mature." You know, not that he's mature, he's still a 15-year-old at heart. But you know, and that's okay. You know,
I'm the same way. I'm not ever going to act my age. I'll never act my
I
age.
don't think that age honey, get out of there. Get out of there. Dogs are in the pine straw. Um I don't want to act my age. My grandmother, I believe she's turning either 92 or 93 on April 1st. I want to say 93. Um But she's always said that she's a kid at heart. You know, she might it doesn't have anything to do with your age. You're still a kid inside. And there's that joy and that happiness that comes. And I think that's like an old soul. You know what I mean? We kind of come in here and it's like we have the knowledge, we have the wherewithal, but we stay childlike inside, and we have that undying faith and love for the world around us. No matter how much trauma we've been through, we still have this ability to find joy and happiness. And I think that comes from our light. You know, we've been around the block quite a few times. We learned quite a few lessons in our lifetimes and our incarnations. And you know, I think that finding that joy, regardless of the situation going outside of us, um, has been, I don't know, the lesson here in all these lifetimes is, you know, let's go through all these incarnations of lack and pain and trauma and all of this, and let's see, you know, what's the best feeling. Well, for me, the best feeling is bliss and joy and happiness and harmony and peace. You know, maybe it's boring to be peaceful, but you know, I'm sitting out here in my backyard and I'm listening to the birds. I'm watching the bees. I'm watching my plants grow. and it's better than any TV show. I'm just sitting out here. There's the sun, and this to me makes more sense than to sit and get dragged into drama that has nothing to do with me. To watch TV shows about apocalypse and murderers, serial killers. I mean, I used to do that nonstop, but what is the point of that? Our attention creates our world around us. And so if our attention is on mass murders and chaos, what do you think we're doing? There's a reason that they're putting that on Netflix
Life, yeah.
because they want more of that. There's a reason that there's apocalypse movies. Every other movie is an apocalypse movie about the end of the world and different scenarios and how it's going to look. You want to know why? Because they want you to imagine it and then create it. The darkness cannot create. We create through the light, and our attention creates those things. So if we're thinking about the apocalypse, we're creating the apocalypse. They create the movies, gets in our mind, and then we make it happen in reality. When you watch The Simpsons and all those things, yes, in a way, it is them asking for consent with, the Masonic order and all of that stuff, but they're also using it as a way to create it. So it's twofold. They're getting our consent for it to happen, but then we're also the ones that are manifesting it because we are the manifestors. That's our role in this world as the light, is to manifest things. And so that's why they want us sleeping, so that we don't know that we're manifesting chaos.
Exactly. They have control over us too, and they keep us dangling that carrot in front of us. So we just
Yeah, we're the workers. You don't understand. Our job, not you personally, but what people don't understand is that our job isn't necessarily to go to work and build things for them. It's not that they want us to mine their gold for them anymore. It's that they want to use our minds to create a reality. It's more than just us physically doing the work. They want us to sleep so that we manifest for them. They want us to do the manifestation work for them because they don't know how to do it anymore. They've lost that ability. Somehow in their evolutionary process, they've lost the ability, whether they've just integrated too much with AI or if they're no longer any kind of organic
those
material anymore.
those
I don't know what
though that particular, unfortunately, that particular frequency doesn't have that ability.
Yeah.
So they use us to do that because they don't have that ability. They are in a frequency that doesn't. That's why we're so important to them. That's why they hold on so tightly to us. That's why all the programming. That's why, because we're the only ones that can create for them. And once we understand that we are creating for them and not ourselves, then we take our power back. Then we start leaving the matrix system. Then we start leaving the jobs that keep them in business. And we can see that that's happening now. But just like you were talking about, if anyone does any type of researching in finances, you understand that the board that, or the people that own the most shares of the company, like BlackRock, run the companies. Those are the people that have the decision making shares. And that particular organization has the majority of the shares in a lot of the different companies around the world. We were just talking about that. And it's funny because I was talking about it completely with someone else. And then that you shared that with me. I think it was you or my friend Mary did, one of the two. You and her
Yeah,
share stuff.
Mary,
I'm
I
like,
don't know.
times I'm like not sure. So it was a finance thing. But it had, oh yeah, it was probably Mary. It had to do with BlackRock.
Yeah, because I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it has to do with the finances, and basically, you understand that, and we've seen this where we watched movies, many movies, where the CEO, basically is the person that owns the most shares in the company. They own the most stock, so they have the ability to make decisions on the company for the company, you see. And if one company owns the most shares with almost all of the companies, then what does that mean? That's all that is. But do your own research and use your discernment, But like, what was I saying? Yeah, going back to breaking the cycles, though. That's what we're doing. And the more authentically we live and do the things that we want to do, like you creating all of your bottles and getting your things in your abundance. See, I want to do that so badly, but I just don't have the ability yet. So I'm getting to that point. But if I don't stand in my authenticity and get out of the fucking box and let people, stop people from doing everything for me, then that's just not going to happen. And that, I mean, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen differently. We'll just put it that way. It could happen a lot easier if I stand in my power. That's all I know.
Yeah. Well, like for instance, this morning I was having a conversation with my mom, and she's like, putting that doubt and that fear about my sales. Well, have you sold anything? And my husband's constantly asking me what I've sold, and they're worried about me spending money. Um, and it's like, well, I really haven't spent that much money compared to the amount of money and inventory that I have. And it's like, well, what if it doesn't sell? Well, if it doesn't sell, then I take it and put it in a different store, and it doesn't cost me anything because it has a long shelf life. So if that doesn't work, then I go to a farmer's market. And then if that doesn't work, then I go on Etsy. And what about FDA? And it's like, it's
You don't
holistic.
FDA.
It's holistic stuff. Like I don't give a shit about the FDA. Like I'm not a company
You're
that's
not
doing. I'm an individual that's just selling stuff personally. So it's like I'm not I'm trying to be big time here. It's like I don't need this bad juju put on me. Like
exactly.
stop. Like
My
people
mind.
need to stop putting bad juju on other people. Stop putting your doubts and your fears on other people. Because you're afraid of the world and afraid to live does not mean that you should make everyone else around you afraid of the world and afraid to live. I'm not afraid to fly. I have wings. I just can't see them. My daughter the other day, she jumped off a bunk bed and I asked her why. And she said, because she thought she could fly. And I explained to her that yes, and I'm not saying that she can actually fly, but I was explaining to her that, like an airplane, that if you're going to try to fly, you need to make sure that you know how to land. I don't tell her, Chelsea, you can't fly. You don't have wings. I don't cut her wings. I don't clip her wings. I explain to her in a way that she understands. That's not saying no, you can't believe what you believe. I want her to believe what she believes. I just want her to be prepared for the fall. That's my only issue is be prepared for your landing. Not saying you're going to get hurt. I didn't say don't jump off the bunk bed. I said jump off the, I didn't say jump off the bunk. I said next time you do it, just make sure you have a landing plan. Make sure like an airplane goes up in the air and they don't just go up there and go, "Woo, I can fly." They make sure that they have their landing gear. So if you're going to jump off a bunk bed, make sure you got something to jump into. You know what I mean? So, I'm not telling her no you can't fly, no you don't have wings. I'm telling her if you're going to have wings, just make sure that you know how to land. I'm not going to clip my kid's wings. I'm not going to tell her she can't fly. Because I've been told I can't fly my whole life. I was told, you'll never find a happy relationship. You'll never get married. You'll never own a house. You'll never do this. You'll never do that. And I'm going, why the hell not? Why can't I? Why is it only a certain few people can do these things, but I can't?
Right.
Why am I not able to do these things?
Right.
Because my mother was afraid. She's doing these things, but why can't I? And she's crippled my sister, my nephew. Our family is, pretty much we've got Munchausen by proxy, in the form of a person who's afraid of the world, yet she can do everything but nobody else can. And it's very frustrating to me, to have that kind of influence in my life. And so I had to put up strong boundaries when it comes to that relationship, and it's hard. You know,
That's
she told me that she listens to my podcast. I doubt that she actually does. I think she just does that to make sure that I'm not talking about her. And if she does, then she'll probably be mad at me after this. I don't really care.
I know. I think
I'm gonna be my authentic self, and I have to be who I am.
listen to me
And
and expect to hear me talking about them. And if you do, I hope you know that I have better things to do. I'm not worried about you, and nobody on here gives a crap who you are. And I'm going to continue living in my authenticity. And if you don't like it, there's the door.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, like in that Allison Co video that guy that it said that, or I forget what it was. Um, Something about that, had he been his authentic self, and that about the, the thing in the arm, that had he told his coworkers that he did not have the thing in the arm, that it would have opened their eyes and that they would have thought about it. And because he did not talk his truth and he lied and said that he did the same thing that they did, that they thought he was basically co-signing and saying that it was okay. But had he told the truth and stood in his power, stood in his truth, that it might have changed, or that it would have changed their minds. And so that is why we have to be our authentic selves, because if we go along with the flow, we're basically going along with and I don't want to sound too crazy here, but with the Nazi regime. If you think about the World War II, everyone that went along with it and didn't stand up and say no, we're all part of it. We have a voice. We have the ability to stop World War III from happening by standing up and saying no. We don't go along with this. I'm not co-signing this.
I don't consent.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't consent.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When you look up Operation Paperclip, I just shared this, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but if you look into the different military declassifieds, that is where the majority of the information and research I've done on this kind of stuff, that's for me, like, that's top of the line. And so when I share stuff, I have full knowledge of what I'm sharing, and it's something that I believe in. So if anyone tries to debate, now this is the other thing with my environment, is not being able to talk about things like this and not having to shut up and not be my thing. That's not going to fucking happen anymore, because I'm tired of fucking not being able to speak and say whatever it is I need to say. So Operation Paperclip, if you look into it, and I've shared a video and I have it in my on my Facebook and all kinds of stuff. I used to have it on my website, but my website changed. So but this video is basically an author who's done all the research, and she's doing a presentation. And so the present, it's basically educating us on Operation Paperclip. So I highly recommend it. We basically hired, everyone knows about Werner von Braun, but nobody knows about all the other 1,200 people that we hired that were very,
Well, that's the thing that nobody realizes, is that
can I say,
we didn't beat the Nazis, we became the Nazis.
they got hired by the United States and the CEA, what was it? The head of the CE, whatever this, I can't think of it. CIA, sorry, the CIA. The head of the CIA at the time was George Bush Sr. So, I mean, you got to look into this stuff. If you haven't, then Fall Cabal is awesome. But I'm not going to go too bad with you guys, because that's on your own. And I don't think we
Yeah.
need.
And honestly, that's kind of a distraction anyway. It's good for knowledge and it's good for information, but at the end of the day, what we're meant to do as light workers has nothing to do with delving into the past and all the conspiracy stuff. So I want to talk about real quick some of the stuff that I've been working on
Yes.
with the grids. I've been so if you go on ascensionglossary.com and look up APINs, APIN, APINs, there it'll come up with the all the grid networks. And so what I've been doing with my artwork is going through each one, and then doing light work, light codes, written light codes on the pictures of the APINs, spinning that into mandalas, creating artwork. And my healing artwork is extremely powerful. It's energetically clearing. It is healing these things, taking back the different grids. The last two that I worked on, this morning I worked on the dragon moth grid, and that took a lot of energy out of me. I mean, I was very like winded, very dizzy after doing that one. Yesterday I did the sacred blue cow, which was already taken back by the amethyst order, but I just did a little work on that as well just to secure it. And then also the gold eagle grid. So I was working on that one as well. So that's something, if anybody's listening, if you're interested in doing light work or anything like that, join me. Focus your energy and your intention on the grids. Go look at those pictures, put your hands up, put your light into those things. That's just something that I personally have felt called to do lately, to work on the grid networks. And I like to get a visual, um, you know, so you can do it your own way. But if we focus on the grid lines, refocusing them, flipping the script, inverting the inversions, setting them back to their correct ways, and then some of them, aren't like grids; they came from the darkness, and so taking those over and disassembling them, taking them apart, taking them down completely, the false matrix grids. But this is something that we can do. And that's, a lot of these outside things have been distractions to keep us away from focusing on the grids and the false matrix and focusing on the things that are creating all of this chaos around us. And so a lot of those conspiracy theories and stuff, yeah, they're great to look into to get information. And I've gone through quite a bit of them, but at the end of the day, a lot of them are distracting us. Our relationships, our fighting, our things that are going on, they have been distractions that, you know, all of the things going on in the news, it's a distraction. What we need to focus on as light workers is dismantling the grid, sending light into the grid. Dismantling the dark grid and sending light into the earth. That for me anyway, this is just my personal calling, is what I've been doing and feeling called to do. So anyway, I just felt like I needed to share that a little bit.
No,
So
I'm really happy you did because that's really good because I'm sure a lot of people like myself, I don't know where to go to look at the grid lines or the ley lines and stuff. So that's perfect. I could put the link in the description too. Because yeah, it is a distraction. Like me getting up every morning, and this is one thing I learned. I had a brief reading out with one of the ladies that interviewed me. Amy interviewed me, but that interview, the recordings messed up. But anyways, she was the one that did a reading on me for my zodiac chart, my horoscope, my full chart, and also was helping me with just a quick reading, and just based on my chart, she could tell me I was a twin, and I was like, how do you know? And you can see it in the chart, just the way it's aligned. It's really weird. I'll have to show you. But I don't understand. And she's like, she's like, I don't tell people that. And I'm like, really? And she's like, no, I don't. So that was interesting. That the other thing she taught me was my rituals, and she called it routines. So
mhm.
she said, she says, the routines that you're doing are really helpful. And I was like, what routines are she talking about? Like, I didn't get it. I had to think about it. And so I sat on it, and it was my ritual and it's the same thing. If you do a ritual, it's like repeating the same thing. You just do the thing over and over, right? That's me
Well,
getting
yeah,
up.
if you think about a Catholic mass, it's all rituals. And why is that? Because there's power in repetition. There's
Yes.
power in people and repeating the same phrase, the same harmony, the same frequency, because what it is creating a frequency. So our actions create a frequency. So if you're doing them over and over and over, you're living in that frequency. So yeah, that makes sense.
Total sense to me. And so I was like, okay, so what am I doing? I'm getting up, and every day I light a candle and I light up my altar. And so I'm trying to get my meditation back on my TV, but it's just being a
That's
bug.
funny. That makes sense as to why I'm constantly bouncing. Like my routines change. Like this month, I'll be doing something, and I am stuck on it for a month, and then all of a sudden the moon changes, and my whole routine changes. I mean,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Right now I've been getting up every day. I've been, I don't take naps. I don't go back to sleep after my daughter goes to school. I get up. I listen to Paul White Gold Eagle. Um, I put on Krishna Das radio on Pandora, on Alexa, and I go to work. I've been making oils, making, planting, or I'll sit in the sun, I'll sit in the hot tub, but I'm just constantly, doing a lot of the same things, every day. So yeah, I'm creating a different routine for myself.
See, and you have the freedom to do that. Like, you literally have that freedom, and I don't. And this is what happens when you don't have it. This is what happens. It becomes psychological, and it's really manifesting, and it's in a physical way. So now I'm like going to doctors, having blood drawn. I had to have 8 vials from the vampire this morning because I have to find out like what kind of arthritis I have. And I already know it's psoriatic arthritis to go along with my psoriasis. I already know that.
Well, you need
But
to get some. You need to go outside and get some dandelions and infuse it in some coconut oil, and then rub it on your skin because it is really good for the skin. So
But I'm
go
not
find some
allowed to,
dandelion.
Becky. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to have any. I'm not allowed to have weird things. I'm a weirdo. I'm not allowed to do weird stuff.
Oh my gosh. I made my husband and I were walking the other day and I started picking dandelions and there was wild onions. And so he started picking the wild onions
So badly. He
and
won't let me look at me weird.
do it anyway. Say fuck it. See, you stop giving a fuck. Stop giving fucks. Do it anyway. Stop giving fucks and do it anyway. You can. You're telling yourself you can't because he won't let you. Is he a warden? Is he going to put you in handcuffs? Is he taking you to jail? No, he's just going to be a
Well,
dick. He's
that's
just
what
going to be a dick. And that what's the worst that can happen? He's a dick. He's a dick anyway. And then you feel like crap because you're not authentic. At least you're your authentic self and you're happy and he's a dick anyway. So you win. You know what I mean?
I'm saying. I'm always trying to make other people happy. It's
And you can. There's nothing that can stop you but you.
I know.
You can
It's
go
me.
outside and pick dandelions. Is he home all day? Go outside right now and go pick dandelions. They grow everywhere.
Well, there's not a lot, so I have to go where they are.
It doesn't take many. Literally, you just got to pull up the roots. If
Well,
you
you've seen
find
where
one plant, it's enough. One plant is enough. Just find one, dig up the roots, take it home, wash it off, put it in some coconut oil, put it in the microwave or on the stove, warm it up, and then put it on your hands.
Yep. Yep. I'm going to because I saw
You took a picture of one the other day. It would have taken you 2 seconds. Just pull it from the ground. He doesn't even have to know. Just take it inside, put it in, do it in the bathroom. He won't even know. Hide it.
well,
Or don't do it in front of him, you know. But my husband was picking these wild onions and I'm laughing and I'm going, who is this guy? You know, like, and then I take him home and I chop him up and he's like, you can't eat those. And he looks it up on his phone and he's like, oh, you can. Like,
dude,
but the
yeah,
funny thing is that he's looking it up now. I've got my husband looking up, whether you can eat wild onions on his phone. That's a big change. This guy who's, into all this physical world and doesn't give a shit about anything. Now he's picking onions and looking up whether you can eat them or not. I celebrate small wins, you know.
yeah. I don't
So
know. I don't
just
know.
you got to start being you.
Like I said, if I earlier, like when we're first sober, like we wait a year. Like I'm at that point where I'm like, I just don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's not him or anything, but since I'm married, I guess that's not going to work. But I obviously, so I'm just like trying to take a step back and work on myself
Well,
and let God lead me
you
and follow
have
me.
to figure out who you are, and if you can do it within a relationship, then you can do it then you can do it outside of a relationship. It doesn't matter your circumstances. You can be alone together. I mean, you've been alone together for a long time, if that makes any sense. You know what I
Time.
mean? So just learn how to be yourself without him. Learn how to love yourself without him. You don't need that validation from him. You can get that from yourself. You can get that from God. You can get that from your guides, from your angels. You can get that from me, from your friends, and you have been. So I know that you have that longing for him to give that to you. And the thing is that if you don't give that to yourself first, he can't give it to you. If he doesn't see that you have value, it's because you don't give yourself value. And that's what I had to learn is I had to value myself. It's like you can't be loved until you love yourself. You cannot accept something until you become it. You have to become it first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So,
taking that first step for me was getting into counseling and not, I waited too long, I had waited way too long before getting into counseling. Don't wait that long, you know. If you need to go see a counselor, do it, you know, for anyone that's listening, because it's really been helpful. So that me going to counseling was the catalyst for me to make the changes I needed to be more into my authentic self, because I thought I was being authentic, but you can't see until, you know, like until you can see. And you just have to keep working on yourself.
Yep.
And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm work on me.
All right. Well, we're at 74.
Yeah, we
Hands
good.
are tired.
Yeah, we're good. We can call it, because we did good. We did good today.
We always do good.
We did.
Alrighty.
We're all happy.
All right,
Woohoo.
let's
Let's,
clear some of that juju because I can feel the weight on you.
oh, I have it all over me all the time. It's always on me. I've been used to it, so I try to let it go and just release it.
Little light language for you.
No, no attachments. Cutting all cords, cutting all attachments.
Kind of reminds me of when I used to go to the raves when I do the light language.
Right? Exactly. I know. I'm like, dude, yeah. Then we do light language too.
And I had a family member ask me, "What are you doing with your hands?" And I'm like, "It's energy. Just don't worry about it."
Yeah, it's just energy. Don't worry.
If it doesn't resonate with you, then turn it off.
Exactly. But if you want to feel energy, all you have to do is you can do this right here. And then you can feel the energy in between your hands. That's energy. And you can feel it. It's there. It's real. And you can manipulate it. You can put it back in you. I was doing that. I was making light balls and then putting them back in me because I needed the extra love. But we got to step out of fear. We can't continue to be in fear.
Absolutely. All right.
We
Thank you
good.
for everybody that's tuned in. And Honey's coming to say bye.
Guess what time it is?
77. 117, right?
117, which is, you're right, it's 77. Oh my God. I'm freaking out right now. Fuck. That's my exit off the 10. Highway 10, exit 117. I mean, it's way down there, but it's that's the exit you take to go down where I'm at. Anyway, one of many.
All right. Well, I love you.
I love you too. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Yeah.
Love you.